They say life in the suburbs is predictable. Wake up, kiss your wife, drive the kids to school, work your 9 to 5, come home to a warm dinner, repeat. That's what I thought too, until 6 months ago. My name is Mike Thompson, and I'm living what most would call the American dream. At least I was. I'm a tech manager at Oracle, making enough to afford our 4-bedroom house in Naperville, Illinois. The kind of neighborhood where people still have block parties and actually know their neighbors' names. My wife Emma and I bought this place 15 years ago, right after our wedding. Back then, she was climbing the corporate ladder at a top marketing firm in Chicago. Smart, ambitious, and beautiful, she was everything I ever wanted. When Madison was born 12 years ago, Emma decided to press pause on her career. I want to be there for every moment, she said, her eyes shining with tears of joy as she held our newborn daughter. 2 years later, Tyler came along, completing our perfect family picture. Madison grew into this incredibly talented artist. Her iPad drawings get hundreds of likes on Instagram. Tyler's our little athlete, dividing his time between baseball practice and trying to beat my old Nintendo scores. Emma threw herself into motherhood with the same passion she once reserved for marketing campaigns. She became the queen of Pinterest-worthy birthday parties and president of the PDA. Our house was always filled with the smell of freshly baked cookies and the sound of children's laughter. Life was good, simple, perfect, until it wasn't. The changes were subtle at first. Emma started spending more time at the local CrossFit gym. I need to focus on self-care, she said, showing me before and after photos on her iPhone. I supported her, of course. What kind of husband wouldn't? Then came the wardrobe upgrades. Yoga pants became Lululemon. Target became Nordstrom. Her old minivan was suddenly embarrassing. Next thing I knew, she was test driving a Tesla Model Y. We can afford it, Mike, she insisted. Besides, think of the environment. The Tesla wasn't what bothered me. It was the passwords. Emma and I always shared everything: email accounts, Netflix, Amazon Prime. But suddenly, her phone was locked down tighter than Fort Knox. She'd angle the screen away when I walked past, quickly closing whatever app she was using. The notifications would light up her screen at odd hours. Just the CrossFit group chat, she'd say with a dismissive wave. But CrossFit doesn't explain the Snapchat notifications I glimpsed one night. Who uses Snapchat at 40? The late-night girls' nights out became more frequent. She'd come home smelling of wine and wearing makeup that looked freshly applied. Ashley wanted to try that new wine bar downtown, she'd explain, not quite meeting my eyes. Ashley, her supposed best friend since college, who I later discovered was in Seattle that weekend. I'm not proud of what I did next. But when your wife of 15 years starts acting like a teenager hiding texts from her parents, you start to lose perspective. One night, after Emma fell asleep, I tried to access her phone. The password had changed from Madison's birthday to something I couldn't guess. That's when I noticed her Apple Watch on the nightstand, still unlocked. My hands shook as I scrolled through her messages. Most were innocent: PDA meetings, grocery lists, funny memes shared with friends. Then I saw a thread with someone saved as J Train. My stomach lurched as I opened it. Great session today. You're getting stronger flex biceps. Thanks. Still sore, but in a good way, winking face. Same time Thursday. Can't wait, face blowing a kiss. I felt sick. The next morning I called in sick to work. Once Emma left for her morning workout, I sat in my home office, hands hovering over my keyboard. As a tech manager, I know my way around computers. It took me less than an hour to order a high-end GPS tracker and set up a burner phone to receive its data. The waiting was the hardest part. 3 days later, the package arrived while Emma was at another wine night. I installed it in her Tesla's wheel well, my heart pounding with every movement. The next morning, I watched on my laptop as the dot representing her car moved through Naperville. It didn't go to the CrossFit gym. Instead, it stopped at a Starbucks near Oak Brook Mall, 15 miles from our house. Then it moved to a residential address I didn't recognize. 2 hours later, it headed home. How was the workout? I asked when she walked in, her hair suspiciously perfect. Great. Jennifer's really pushing us hard on cardio, she said, heading straight for the shower. Jennifer. J-Train. The pieces were starting to fit together. I spent the next week tracking her movements, documenting every inconsistency. The grocery runs that never resulted in groceries. The PDA meetings at non-existent locations. The girls' nights that took place in quiet suburban neighborhoods. Each lie was a knife in my gut. Our kids started noticing something was wrong. Madison, perceptive beyond her 12 years, asked me one night why I wasn't eating dinner with them anymore. Just busy with work, sweetie. I lied, hating myself for it. Tyler became quieter, spending more time in his room with his Xbox. I was losing my family, and I couldn't even tell them why. Then came the day I decided to follow her. It was a Thursday afternoon. Emma had another training session scheduled. I worked from home, watching the tracker until her Tesla left our driveway. This time, she drove to Waterfall Glen Forest Preserve. I waited 15 minutes, then followed. The preserve was quiet that time of day. I parked my car at a distance and walked toward where her Tesla was parked. That's when I saw them. Emma was with a man I'd never seen before. Tall, muscular, probably in his early 30s. They were standing close, too close. I watched, frozen, as he brushed a strand of hair from her face. The gesture was intimate, practiced. They kissed. My world shattered. I wanted to rush forward, to confront them, to demand answers. Instead, I took out my phone and started recording. The video was shaky, but clear enough. Clear enough to see my wife of 15 years kissing another man in broad daylight. Clear enough to see her smile at him the way she used to smile at me. Clear enough to destroy any doubt or hope I might have had. I drove home in a daze, the video burning a hole in my pocket. Madison was at her art class. Tyler was at baseball practice. The house felt emptier than ever. I sat in our kitchen, staring at the family photos on the wall. Christmas mornings, beach vacations, birthday parties. 15 years of memories tainted by betrayal. When Emma came home that evening, she was humming. Actually humming. She walked into the kitchen and froze when she saw me. Mike, what are you doing home? I placed my phone on the counter, video queued up. Want to tell me about your workout, Emma? Her face paled. What are you talking about? I pressed play. The sound was muted, but the images spoke volumes. Emma's hand flew to her mouth. Mike, I can explain. Explain what? My voice was surprisingly calm. Explain how you've been lying to me. To our children. It's not what you think. Really? Because I think you're having an affair with your trainer. I think you've been sneaking around for months, lying to my face, making me think I was crazy for suspecting something was wrong. Tears streamed down her face. I never meant for this to happen. That's what everyone says, isn't it? Did you think about Madison and Tyler? About what this would do to them? Please, Mike, we can fix this. Fix what? My trust in you? Our marriage? Our family? She reached for me, but I stepped back. Don't. The front door opened. Madison returning from our class. Mom? Dad? I'm home. Emma wiped her eyes quickly. We'll talk later, I said, my voice low. Please don't tell the kids, she whispered. I looked at her, this stranger wearing my wife's face. You should have thought about them before. Madison bounced into the kitchen, her iPad clutched to her chest. Dad, look at what I drew today. I forced a smile, my heart breaking. Show me, sweetheart. As Madison excitedly explained her latest digital masterpiece, I watched Emma slip away, her shoulders shaking. That night, I lay awake in our guest room, staring at the ceiling. 15 years of marriage. 2 beautiful children. A life we built together, brick by brick. all crumbling because of lies told in Starbucks parking lots and forest preserves. My phone buzzed. A text from Ashley, Emma's supposed best friend. We need to talk. Coffee tomorrow. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. Okay. Little did I know revenge would taste like a Veni caramel macchiato served with a side of karma. The Starbucks off Route 59 was packed with the usual morning crowd. Ashley was already there, 2 drinks on the table. She looked different from the last time I'd seen her, sharper somehow, less like Emma's perpetual sidekick. I ordered you a caramel macchiato, she said as I sat down. You still drink those, right? I nodded, wrapping my hands around the warm cup. How long have you known? Ashley sighed, stirring her own drink. About 3 months. I tried to talk her out of it, but you didn't tell me. Would you have believed me? She had a point. 3 months ago, I was still living in blissful ignorance, thinking Emma's changes were just a midlife crisis. His name is Jason, Ashley continued. He's 34, divorced, no kids. My hand tightened around the cup. He's been her trainer for about 8 months. And they've been 6 months, give or take. Half a year. Half a year of lies, secrets, and betrayal. Why are you telling me this now? Ashley looked me straight in the eyes. Because what Emma's doing is wrong. And because I have an idea. She pulled out her phone, opening Instagram. Emma's whole identity is wrapped up in being the perfect suburban mom. The PDA president. The CrossFit queen. The woman who has it all. I knew where this was going. You want to destroy that image. Ashley's smile was sharp. No, I want to help you make her feel what you're feeling. The betrayal, the humiliation, the doubt. How? By giving her a taste of her own medicine. The plan was simple, but brilliant. Ashley and I would start appearing together in public. Coffee shops, restaurants, the local farmer's market. All the places where Emma's social circle would see us. We document everything on social media, letting the suburban gossip mill do its work. Trust me, Ashley said, nothing drives Emma crazier than feeling left out. I should have said no, should have taken the high road. But the image of Emma kissing that trainer kept playing in my head. Okay, I said. Let's do it. The next few weeks were a carefully choreographed dance. Ashley and I met for coffee at Emma's favorite cafe. We took walks in the park where the CrossFit moms gathered. We had dinner at trendy restaurants, making sure to tag our locations on Instagram. Each time, Ashley would post a photo with a cryptic caption. Sometimes the best things in life are unexpected two hearts. When friendship becomes something more sparkles. Living my best life with someone's special smiling face with hearts. The reaction was immediate. Emma's friends started watching us like hawks. The whispers followed me at school pickup. Even the baristas at Starbucks gave us knowing looks. Emma noticed too. She became agitated, checking her phone constantly. Her CrossFit sessions got shorter. Her Tesla started spending more time in our garage. One night, after the kids were asleep, she confro and Ted me in the kitchen. Are you sleeping with Ashley? I looked up from my laptop, keeping my face neutral. That would be pretty hypocritical of you to ask, wouldn't it? Answer the question, Mike. Like you answer mine about Jason? Her face flushed. That's different. How? Because you did it first? Because. She couldn't finish the sentence. I'm going out, I said, closing my laptop. Don't wait up. I texted Ashley on my way to my car. An hour later, we were at Revolution Brewing, one of Chicago's hottest tap rooms. Ashley wore a dress that would set the neighborhood Facebook group on fire. We sat at a table by the window, making sure to order the most photogenic drinks. Smile, Ashley said, raising her phone. This one's going on her CrossFit group chat. The photo was perfect. Ashley laughing at something I'd said, my hand casually resting near hers. Within minutes, Emma called. I let it go to voicemail. She's losing it, Ashley said, checking her messages. 3 people already asked her about us. Good. but something felt hollow about it all. Maybe it was the way Madison asked why Aunt Ashley was at the coffee shop with me every morning, or how Tyler's baseball coach mentioned seeing me at dinner with a lovely young lady. The revenge was working, but at what cost? A week later, Emma stopped me as I was leaving for work. "We need to talk about the kids." She looked tired, defeated. The perfect suburban mom facade was cracking. "Madison's grades are slipping," she said, "and Tyler's coach says he's not focusing at practice. Wonder why that is." "Mike, please. This thing with Ashley, it's affecting them. Like your thing with Jason didn't. That was different." "No, it wasn't. You don't get to play the concerned parent now, Emma. You lost that right when you decided to blow up our family." Her eyes filled with tears. "I made a mistake. A horrible, terrible mistake. But the kids shouldn't suffer for it." She was right, of course. The kids shouldn't suffer. But they already were. That night, I met Ashley at a wine bar in downtown Naperville. "I can't do this anymore," I told her. She nodded, unsurprised. The revenge or the marriage? Both. Ashley reached across the table, squeezing my hand. "Then it's time to call Sarah Martinez." "Who?" "The best divorce attorney in Chicago. She handled my sister's divorce last year. Took her cheating ex for everything." I stared at my untouched wine. I never wanted this. No one does, Mike. But sometimes it's the only way forward. The next morning, I called Sarah Martinez's office. Her secretary got me an appointment for that afternoon. The office was in a sleek high-rise in the Loop, all glass and chrome. Sarah Martinez looked exactly like someone who made cheating spouses cry in court. "Tell me everything," she said, her Mont Blanc pen poised over a legal pad. So I did. The CrossFit lies, the SECR, meeting, the GPS tracker, the video in the forest preserve. Sarah took notes, her expression giving nothing away. When I finished, she looked up. "You want primary custody?" "Yes." "The house?" "Yes." "And you have proof of her infidelity?" I pulled out my phone, showing her the video. "Perfect," she said. "Now, about your relationship with Ashley." I felt my face heat up. "It's not real. We were just trying to get revenge. I understand. But we need to end that now. It could hurt your case." She was right. That night, I told Ashley we needed to stop. She understood. "We did what we set out to do," she said. "Now it's time for the real fight." The next morning, Emma found the divorce papers on the kitchen counter. She didn't cry, didn't beg, just stared at them like they were written in a language she couldn't understand. "I'll be staying with my sister," she said finally, until we figure this out." "The kids stay here," I said, "in their home." She nodded, defeated. Can I say goodbye?" I watched as she hugged Madison and Tyler, promising to see them soon, promising everything would be okay. More lies from the queen of deception. As her Tesla pulled out of our driveway, Madison turned to me. "Dad, are you and Mom getting divorced?" I pulled her close, feeling Tyler press against my other side. "Yes, sweetheart, we are." "Because of Jason?" My heart stopped. "You knew?" Madison looked down. "I saw them once. At Starbucks. I didn't know how to tell you." I hugged them tighter, feeling their small bodies shake with sobs. "I'm so sorry," I whispered. "I'm so sorry." That night, after they were finally asleep, I sat in my home office. Pictures of our family still covered the walls. 15 years of memories. A lifetime of trust. All destroyed by 6 months of lies. I opened my laptop and started typing. "Dear Sarah, I'm ready to proceed with the divorce." The war was about to begin, and this time, I wasn't fighting for revenge. I was fighting for my kids, for our home, for our future. A future without Emma's perfect lies. Divorce is like a death by 1,000 cuts. Every meeting with lawyers. Every negotiation over assets. Every discussion about custody schedules. Each one a small wound that never quite heals. Sarah Martinez proved to be worth every penny of her astronomical fee. She was ruthless, methodical, and always 3 steps ahead. Emma's lawyer is pushing for joint custody, she told me during one of our meetings. That's not happening. Sarah smiled, pulling out a thick folder. I know. That's why I've documented every instance of her prioritizing her affair over the children. The evidence was damning. Missed parent-teacher conferences because of training sessions. School events she skipped for secret rendezvous. The time she left Tyler's baseball championship early to meet Jason. What about the house? I asked. You'll keep it. The kids need stability, and the judge will see that. She was right about that, too. The first court appearance was surreal. Emma sat across the aisle with her lawyer, wearing a conservative blue dress. The perfect suburban mom costume was back on, but the act didn't work anymore. Not after Sarah presented the evidence. The GPS logs, the video from the forest preserve, Madison's tearful testimony about seeing them at Starbucks. Even Emma's lawyer looked uncomfortable. The judge's temporary ruling came down like a hammer. Primary custody to me. The house stayed with the kids. Emma got supervised visitation rights. Watching her face crumble almost made me feel sorry for her. Almost. But then I remembered Madison's grades, Tyler's baseball games, all the little casualties of her perfect lies. Life settled into a new routine. I worked from home more often, making sure I was there for school pickup. Madison's art teacher suggested therapy. We found Dr. Roberts, a child psychologist who specialized in divorce. She did video sessions with the kids twice a week. Slowly, things started to improve. Madison's grades went back up. Tyler rejoined the baseball team. Our house felt lighter somehow, without the weight of deception. That's when I met Rachel. It wasn't dramatic or romantic. Just 2 single parents at a Saturday morning baseball game. Her daughter Sophie was on Tyler's team. Nice hit, I called out as Sophie made it to first base. Thanks, said a voice beside me. She's been practicing all week. Rachel had kind eyes and a smile that reached them. We got to talking between innings. She was a food blogger, recently divorced. Sophie was her only child. It's not easy, is it? She said, watching our kids on the field. No, I replied, but it gets better. After the game, she invited us to her food blog testing session. I'm trying out new cookie recipes, she explained. Could use some honest critics. Tyler's eyes lit up at the word cookies. Madison, ever the social media expert, offered to help with the photography. Rachel's kitchen was warm and inviting, nothing like the stage perfection of Emma's. Flour dusted every surface. Cookie sheets lined the counters. The kids dove into their roles as taste testers with enthusiasm. These are amazing, Tyler declared, reaching for his 4th cookie. Dad, look at this shot, Madison said, showing me her Instagram-worthy photo. Rachel laughed, wiping flour from her cheek. I think we have a winning combination here. She wasn't just talking about the cookies. Weeks turned into months. Baseball games became dinner dates. Cookie testing sessions became family movie nights. Rachel's blog followers fell in love with Madison's photos. Tyler and Sophie became inseparable. Even Dr. Roberts noticed the change. The kids seem happier, she said during one of our parent consultations. They are. And you? I thought about Rachel's laugh. About lazy Sunday mornings with all 4 kids making pancakes. About the way life felt real and honest and messy and perfect. I am too. Emma noticed the changes as well. During one of her supervised visits, she watched Madison show Rachel's latest blog post on her iPad. You're dating someone? I met her eyes. Yes. She nodded, looking away. The kids seem to like her. They do. Good. That's good. And somehow it was. The final divorce hearing was almost anticlimactic. Sarah had negotiated everything in advance. All that was left was signing the papers. Emma had stopped fighting, stopped pretending. Maybe she finally realized that perfect lies couldn't build a perfect life. As we left the courthouse, she stopped me. "I'm sorry," she said, "for everything." "I know. Take care of them. Always." That night, Rachel and I took all 4 kids to Disney on Ice. Madison and Sophie took selfies with the princesses. Tyler and Rachel's youngest, Ben, cheered for Olaf. Looking at them, I realized something. Life after betrayal isn't about revenge. It's not about making the other person hurt as much as you did. It's about rebuilding, about finding strength in the broken places, about creating something new from the ashes of what was lost. 6 months later, Rachel and I bought a bigger house. Nothing fancy, just a 6-bedroom colonial with enough space for our blended family. The kids decorated their own rooms. Madison covered her walls with her artwork and Rachel's food blog photos. Tyler and Ben turned their shared space into a sports memorabilia museum. Sophie started a YouTube channel about baking. Rachel's blog became a full-time business. She converted the basement into a test kitchen. The whole family pitched in, testing recipes, taking photos, making videos. Even Emma found her way back. Not to me, but to being a better mother. She started showing up consistently for her visitation days, attended every game and art show, slowly earned back our children's trust. One evening, as Rachel and I sat on our back porch watching the kids play soccer in the yard, she turned to me. "Do you ever regret it? How things turned out?" I watched Madison teach Sophie how to dribble, saw Tyler and Ben arguing over goal counts, felt Rachel's hand in mine, solid and real. "No," I said. "Every ending is just another beginning." She squeezed my hand. Inside, cookies were baking. Homework waited on the kitchen table. Soccer gear littered the hallway. Nothing was perfect, but it was real, and that made all the difference. Life in the suburbs is still predictable in some ways. School runs and soccer practice, work meetings and grocery shopping, cookie testing and blog posts. But now I know that predictable doesn't mean perfect. Real love isn't about maintaining an image. It's about morning breath and messy kitchens, about being there for baseball games and art shows, about choosing each other every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Madison is 14 now. Her Instagram art account has more followers than Emma's ever did. Tyler made the travel baseball team. Sophie's baking channel is taking off. Ben still can't beat my old Nintendo scores. And Rachel? She makes me laugh every day. Shows me what real partnership looks like. Loves my kids as her own. Sometimes, when I look back at those 15 years with Emma, it feels like a different life. A life built on perfect lies and careful pretense. But I'm grateful for it in a way. Because without the ending of that story, I never would have found the beginning of this one. And this story? It's messy and real and absolutely perfect in its imperfection. Just like life should be.